When talking about protection, it's important that the organization has complete buy-in to the insider threat program. It requires complete acceptance of the outlined policies, and uh, that's to ensure that the program is actually effective. So company-wide adoption of the insider threat program requires annual training. So we're going to give yearly tests that are pass or fail, and we're going to measure how well we have done at training your employees. So the expected pass rate is above 80%. This shows that the employees have an in-depth knowledge of the insider threat program and an understanding. We will evaluate the results and identify knowledge gaps and address those issues to ensure that whatever areas there's a concern over is quickly addressed and fixed. So there will also be insider threat program accountability. It's important that all employees follow the guidelines, because if there's one weak link in the chain, it leaves the entire organization susceptible to an attack. So in order to measure this, we're going to count the number of at-risk behaviors detected. So basically, we're going to be seeing how effective we are at recognizing insider threats and putting a stop to them before they can really harm the company. And then our goal is to meet with 2 employees weekly who we have identified as potential at-risk employees. And this isn't meant to punish them, but it's to show them what behaviors they can fix and why there's a good reason for them to put a stop to this at-risk behavior. Hello, my name is Doug Avery, and as the behavior analyst for the Cyberchasers, I'm going to be taking a look at measuring our response to insider threats. Cyberchasers strive to provide swift detection of insider threats in order to minimize damage. Through recognizing and minimizing threats quickly, we can decrease the likelihood a large amount of data is stolen and further confidential information is compromised. When looking at a response strategy, there are 2 measurements we'll focus on: the identification of the source of the threat and eliminating the threat. When measuring our success at identification, there are a few key evaluations: success rate at identifying the person responsible for the attack, and timeliness to identifying the person responsible. It's important individuals such as the software developers responsible for the credit card scam are promptly identified and removed from their position to prevent further harm to the company. As the behavior analyst within Cyberchasers, there are several tools that will help with success in this. First, we're going to identify employees who are cause for concern. We're going to red flag these individuals, so in the event that there is an attack, we already have a list of employees that could be potential suspects, and it's a place to start. Tools such as data loss prevention and user behavior analysis programs will allow our team to swiftly analyze and determine possible suspects. Secondly, we want to eliminate the threat. This first starts through detecting the threat within an hour. The 2018 Insider Threat Report stated that 50% of companies surveyed were detecting insider attacks in an hour or more. Our goal is to be under an hour 100% of the time. We'll also evaluate the length of the attack. In order to mitigate damages, it's important we quickly contain and remove the threat. Another important measurement will be the number of repeated incidents of the same insider threat attacks. After an attack, it's important that we assess the vulnerability that allowed the attack and address the issue. In this instance, where an employee used points from a company credit card for financial gain, we'd immediately implement credit card audits aimed at preventing similar attacks. So we'd monitor employee access, and we'd also monitor credit card statements for suspicious activities. The hope is that with these measurements, we can improve upon our own performance and further protect your company.
Cyberchasers will analyze the beginning of the threat, which is detected, and analyze anything that was taken from that period of time. So from the beginning of the threat to the end of the threat, and they also have new frameworks to protect data that was attacked. They'll also require employees to change their password on a 3-month period and change credentials often. Attackers will be handled with disciplinary action, such as immediate termination and legal suits.
Hi, I'm Gary Anderson, an IT analyst at Cyberchasers, and I'm here to talk to you about why you should choose Cyberchasers for your ITP. At Cyberchasers, we understand what your needs are. After your recent incident involving fraud, the program we developed is suited to your needs and can effectively reduce your risk of another attack. We are sure you don't want to spend money on a program that isn't effective for your organization. That's why we couple our ITP with an assessment plan. As previously detailed, our assessment plan covers all 5 functions in the NIST framework. This helps us and your organization to track the effectiveness of our ITP and to adapt to the ever-changing insider threat landscape.